This is Pastor Steve with an encouraging word. Well, it's Thanksgiving week. Can't believe it's hardly here. I'm one of those people that really looks forward to Thanksgiving. Not so much for the turkey and the football games, but because of what it means. A day to say thank you, Lord. A day to give thanks. Now I know it's right in the middle of what I call Hallowthanksmas, that holiday period that starts maybe a little bit after Labor Day, when they first bring out the Halloween decorations and begin to set them up in the shelves. You barely hit October when you find the rows of Christmas decorations just waiting behind the aisle or two over from the Halloween decorations. Maybe during October you might see a wobble till you gobble picture or a cornucopia there on the shelf. But Thanksgiving is kind of lost between Halloween and Christmas. Of course I know why. Commercially, Thanksgiving doesn't offer you much. It's Halloween with all the candy, the decorations, the costumes, the yard ornaments, and all that going on. Well, that's big business. And Christmas, oh, I know I don't need to get started on all the commercialism, all the dollar sales that go on Christmas. Besides all the decorations and food and things, there's the presents, the cards, the decorations, and the wrapping paper. Some stores, of course, make a third of their business. Some might almost a half during Christmas time. But Thanksgiving, such a simple thing, unadorned, except for maybe the turkey and the meal. But to me, it's the great holiday of the year. Let me remind you from the scriptures what it says about giving thanks to God. I'll share with you Psalm 100, one of my favorite. The psalmist reminds us to shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him, and praise his name. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. Now I know it's been a tough year. It may seem like there are not many things to be thankful for, but truly God's goodness in the midst of a pandemic, God's love that continues, God's faithfulness, they can be praised anytime and any place. In fact, if we're honest, Thanksgiving should be a daily celebration, not just once a year. This Thanksgiving comes in the midst of COVID. I know as you gather around the table, there may be less people there. They gather together at all. Now it's tough to have a meal, a big feast like we often have when it's just two or three. But there's still room for thanks. There's still room for Thanksgiving. For you see, God's love has continued. His faithfulness never ends. He's helped give us strength and grace, hope, and always his love. He is a faithful God, even in the midst of a pandemic. And we may have had hard times, but God's still with us. We are not alone. And so I hope you'll give thanks this Thanksgiving. Hope amidst the activities that may be similar for you, with some people gathered and watching football games and the big meal, or may it be quieter and simpler with just two or three. But I hope you'll give thanks today, that Thanksgiving day. In fact, I hope you'll do it every day, not just once a year. Hallowthanksmas really isn't a thing, but that's the way it feels sometimes when you go in the stores. And maybe because we've done that a little less, don't know if that makes the holiday easier to see. But Thanksgiving is there, not just a day on the calendar, of course, but an attitude of the heart that God invites his children to have. Come into his presence, become aware of his presence when we give thanks. That's what happens. And direct our hearts to the giver of all good things. Praise his name. Praise again always lifts our hearts, because God's bigger than us, bigger than our situations, and bigger than a pandemic. So this week we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving. I hope that's on your mind this week. More importantly, I hope it's on your heart. That's an encouraging word today from Pastor Steve.